Ever wonder who's the unsung hero behind some of TV's most iconic shows? Let's talk Hal Williams.
Hey, it's Garrett here, feeling pretty intrigued today.
And I'm Leah, excited to dive into today's topic. Welcome to Laid Back Learning with Leah and Garrett.
Today, we're uncovering the life and career of Hal Williams, an actor whose presence spanned decades of television and film.
I remember watching 227 with my family, and Lester Jenkins always felt like that calm center in the living room scenes. Later, I realized he was the same actor who played the drill sergeant in Private Benjamin. That range is wild, going from a warm sitcom dad to a no-nonsense military presence. It made me look him up and honestly opened a door to this huge filmography I didn't know was connected.
Let's set the stage. Hal Williams was an American actor known for steady, memorable turns in both comedies and dramas. If a show is like a band, he's the bass player holding down the groove. Maybe not always front and center, but if you pull him out, the whole thing feels off. He moved across genres comfortably, sitcoms like Sanford and Son and 227, dramas like The Waltons and Hill Street Blues, westerns like Gunsmoke, plus studio films from Hardcore to The Rookie to Guess Who and Flight. That adaptability is like the secret sauce of a long career.
Totally. And when we say sitcoms and procedurals, quick translation. A sitcom is a comedy built around a set situation, like a family or a workplace. A procedural is a show that follows the steps of an investigation or job, episode by episode. Think police work or legal cases broken down methodically. Williams handled both, which is rarer than it sounds. Different rhythms, different timing, different kinds of authority to project.
All right, here's the early arc. He was born in Columbus, Ohio in 1934. Before he was on our screens, he was working as a postal worker and a corrections officer while doing community theater in the early 1960s. That's a grind. Days on the job, nights on stage. In 1968, he took the leap to Hollywood, and by 1970, he was going full-time with acting. Within a year, he started booking TV. The Jimmy Stewart Show in 1971 as Lieutenant Quigley, and That Girl that same year for 2 episodes as Herbie Robinson. Those are mainstream network credits that tell casting directors, yeah, this guy can show up and deliver.
And he kept saying yes to varied gigs. In 1972, he pops into a film called Cool Breeze as a policeman, uncredited. Uncredited means your name doesn't appear in the on-screen cast list. It's still work and experience. Then there's the Disney feature Herbie Rides Again in 1974 as a ticketing police officer. On TV, he's threading through staples, Sidekicks, the TV movie in 1974, Gunsmoke in 1975, Estwat also in 1975. But the big recognitions start kicking in with Officer Smitty on Sanford and Son from 1972 to 1976, 20 episodes. Smitty is the friendly cop who keeps things from boiling over, and his timing just fits that show's rhythm. Then he shifts tone entirely for the Waltons. That's the Depression-era family drama set in rural Virginia. He plays Harley Foster across 7 episodes from 1973 to 1980. It's a recurring role, meaning he shows up multiple times, but isn't a weekly series regular. The range there is impressive. It's not just punchlines, it's heart and history. And don't forget Kung Fu with David Carradine, the actor known for playing Kwai Chang Caine. Williams first appears as Caleb Brown in the 1973 Season 2 premiere, then returns in 1975. Producers bringing you back like that says, we trust your character to carry weight in our story.
He even stepped into main cast territory early with On the Rocks from 1975 to 1976, playing Lester DeMott. Main cast just means you're a regular face in most episodes, credited up front. And in 1980, the Private Benjamin feature film hits. He's Drill Sergeant L.C. Ross, this commanding presence with a sharp comic edge. What's cool is that he reprises that as Sergeant Ted Ross in the TV series version from 1981 to 1983. Not every supporting actor carries over from film to TV. That continuity is rare, and honestly, a sign that producers saw him as essential to the chemistry. Around that time, he kept his procedural cred strong. He was in the pilot of T.J. Hooker in 1982 as Officer Brian. The pilot is the very first episode designed to sell a show's concept. He did 2 episodes of Knots Landing in 1980, and he didn't lose his theater chops either. In 1981, he was on stage at the Los Angeles Actors Theater in Nevis Mountain Dew as Boise McCandless. That's a nice reminder that live performance asks for a different muscle. You can't call cut, you just ride the scene.
Then comes one of the defining pillars, 227 on NBC, 1985 to 1990. He's Lester Jenkins, the family patriarch. It's an ensemble sitcom, meaning the comedy energy is spread across a group, not just one star. He balances warmth and authority. He's the dad who can say no, but also, make you laugh 2 beats later. Meanwhile, he dips into serious terrain with Hill Street Blues in 1986. That show is celebrated for its gritty, layered cop stories. 2 episodes on Magnum P.I. in 1988 further show he can slip into action-adjacent TV worlds without breaking a sweat. Moving into the 1990s, he appears in The Rookie, directed by Clint Eastwood, where he plays Detective Powell. Then he swings back to comedy in Night Court in 1991 as head bailiff Reedy. He's a regular on The Sinbad Show from 1993 to 1994 as Rudy Bryan. He and Sinbad link up again for The Cherokee Kid in 1996, a Western comedy mix. There's a Moesha episode in 1997, reaching a younger audience. And in the 2000s, he's in Guess Who in 2005 as Howard Jones, father to Bernie Mac's character. Bernie Mac was a major stand-up and sitcom star, so that pairing crosses generations. In Flight in 2012, he voices Whip's dad. A voice role means you convey character without being on camera, and he still lands an emotional note. He even appears as himself in a Black Lady sketch show in 2019, which is such a cool nod from contemporary creators.
And later in life, he was still at it. The Matlock revival in 2024 brings him in as Autry in episode 2, and he returns in 2025 for episode 10. A revival, by the way, is a new version of a classic series. That's staying power. He worked into his late 80s and early 90s. He passed away in July 2026 at home in Rancho Mirage, California, at 91. Survived by 3 children, 3 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren. A full life and a filmography that stretches across more than 5 decades.
I want to circle back to one question that trips people up. When does his career officially start and end? Some say the 1970s to the 2010s. Others include the late 1960s because of the move to Hollywood and early work. Some extend to the 2020s because of the Matlock revival and the 2019 sketch show appearance. It's not a fight, more a framing problem. What matters more, the first time the public sees your name in credits, or the real-world work that leads to that moment?
I'm team, everything counts. Include the uncredited roles. Include the community theater. Uncredited just means your name didn't scroll, not that you didn't show up. If you're tracing a life in craft, you count the hours. Cool Breeze in 1972 matters because it puts him on a feature set. Community theater in Ohio matters because it sharpened his instincts. And those late cameos in 2019 and the 2024-2025 Matlock run matter because they show endurance. For me, the arc is early 1960s stage work through the mid-2020s on TV.
I hear you, and that's fair. My lens is a tiny bit different. I lean on credited roles because they shape how audiences remember you. When your name appears in That Girl in 1971 or Sanford and Sons soon after, that's when your identity starts forming in public memory. And then something like Private Benjamin, the series, where he's main cast, stamps it in. That said, I won't ignore the early grind. I just prioritize the credits because they map to cultural impact more directly. Why would you say the uncredited work changes our understanding of his influence, though?
Because persistence is influence, too. Producers don't tap you to reprise a drill sergeant from film to TV if you haven't proven reliability across all the small jobs. And his authority vibe, postal worker, corrections officer before acting, baked into his screen presence. You can see how that pre-screen life translated into Smitty the Cop, a principal on Webster, or a head bailiff on Night Court. Counting the whole path explains why those authority roles felt credible and not just performed.
That's a solid point. Real talk. The background gives his characters weight. Maybe we're just tracking two overlapping stories. One is the public timeline of credits that define eras of TV and film. The other is the quieter timeline of training, day jobs, and early auditions that make those credits possible. Put together, you get the full picture of why he connected with audiences for so long.
Speaking of connection, think about the pop culture through lines. Sanford and Son nails urban working-class humor in the 1970s. The Waltons delivers rural family resilience set in the Depression era. 2 and 27 brings 1980s neighborhood-centric comedy with a black family at the center. That's a cross-section of American TV history. He threads them together, giving viewers stability. You see him and go, yeah, that checks out, I'm in safe hands.
And those shows keep echoing because of syndication, which just means reruns are sold to other networks, so episodes live on for new audiences. Even streaming picks them up now. He's part of the Comfort TV DNA. Plus, the authority figure template he played, cop, principal, bailiff, drill sergeant, shows up everywhere in pop culture. He made those roles feel human, not cardboard. That blend of command and warmth is a trick not everyone can pull off. Here's a what if that I can't stop thinking about. What if he hadn't moved to Hollywood in 1968? Imagine he stayed in Ohio. I see a path where he becomes a pillar in Midwestern theater, building companies, mentoring younger actors, maybe touring regional stages. That kind of influence is huge, even if it's not national TV fame.
I'm down for that thought experiment. He could have been the go-to lead or character actor across regional seasons, shaping local taste, maybe directing shows too. Community theaters and repertory companies thrive on reliable anchors. He had that grounding energy. I could see critics in the Midwest talking about him like a legend you have to catch live this season. Different map, same gravity.
And maybe over time, national stages notice. He could have moved into big city productions later, bringing a seasoned presence that stands out immediately. It's fascinating how a single decision, pack up for Hollywood or stay put, splits into two equally meaningful legacies. One is captured on film and TV, the other lives in the memory of audiences sitting a few rows back from the stage. Either way, that steadiness still shines.
Thanks for joining us on Laid Back Learning with Leah and Garrett. Stay curious and keep exploring.